Hello YouTube. Hi! It's been a while since I've just sat down in front of a camera and tried to film a nice, normal, relaxed video. This is a book video and I'm going to be reviewing The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. I mentioned this book a couple of months ago in my post-Christmas book haul and I only got around to reading it recently. I had to make a video about it because I absolutely love it. It's very pretty. John Connolly is an Irish author from Dublin, I believe, and prior to this book I think he'd only written crime novels, sort of private detectives and all that. This book came out in 2006 and I have a wonderful edition that actually has notes from the author at the end, but not only that, it has the original fairy tales and stories that are sort of referenced throughout the book. I think this book is presented like a children's book, and it would be okay if children read this, but it's not a children's book, and it is the story of David, and David lives in England during World War II, I believe, and his mother dies, and after his mother dies his father meets a new woman and they have a baby together. And you know, everything should be okay, David moves house, but since his mother's death David hasn't been feeling too good. And his books, and especially the books in the house he moves to, they start talking to him, which, it sounds like a dream to me. I thought that sounds very exciting. I wish my books talked back. But it's not, and he goes to a psychiatrist and everybody's a little worried. And then he starts to drift into the worlds in the books, and most of the books are sort of fairy tales and fantasy and the type of things that we all like to read when we're children. And eventually he ends up in that world, and he ends up in a completely different land, a world of wolves and witches and of kings and queens, and it's wonderful, and that's where most of the narrative is set. And David goes on a wonderful journey of sort of self-discovery, and he overcomes lots of things, but he realises he wants to go back to his family. However, to do that he has to defeat the Crooked Man. I think this is supposed to be a depiction of the Crooked Man. He is terrifying. There are parts of this book that are really eerie, really quite dark, another reason why it shouldn't be classed as a children's book, but the Crooked Man is a particularly fantastic character. And I guess the form is pretty similar to a lot of fairy tales in that you have your hero who goes on a journey, has things to overcome, and then you either have a happy ending or a not so happy ending. Lots of fairy tales end badly. This book is funny, there's lots of funny characters. The 7 dwarves are in the book, but not in the way you'd expect them to be, and they're particularly humorous. My favourite part is definitely towards the end of the book, when the action all sort of comes together, and it also talks about what happens to David once he returns back to England, and it's so clever, and it plays with reality, it plays with fantasy, and sort of the idea of a child's innocence and a child's awareness of what's going on around them. Also pretty heavy theme of death, and I just think this book is really insightful. It has a lot to say and I think it deserves to be heard. I would recommend The Book of Lost Things if you enjoyed Big Fish by Daniel Wallace, and also if you just liked fairy tales as a child or indeed as an adult. I think this book particularly resonated with me because I used to sort of hide away in the world of fiction when I was a child, especially when bad things did happen. I completely understand using books as an escape, perhaps not so much the sort of fantastical world of wolves and horses and strange hybrid animals, but certainly just literature in general. But I like to think I didn't stay lost in the literature, and I sort of took lessons learned from them and then went on in my life, and that's what David has to learn to do. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Definitely check out The Book of Lost Things if you haven't already. If you have, let me know what you thought. We can have a little discussion, it'll be lovely. Also, thank you so much for your lovely reaction to my last video. I was a bit nervous about uploading that one, so that was really lovely, and there will be another one of those quite soon. It'll probably be the next thing you see on this channel. Okay, I'm going to go, and thank you for watching. Bye!